हेलो हेलो हेलो। गुड गुड गुड, वेल प्लेड साउथ अफ्रीका। साउथ अफ्रीका ने बहुत अच्छा खेला भाई। तो आज देखा आपने कि क्विंटन डिकॉक ने क्या बैटिंग की है भाई उसने। क्विंटन डिकॉक ट्रिपल ट्रिपल सेंचुरी मतलब 3 सेंचुरी मार चुका है इसमें। एक ही बारी में नहीं, मतलब 3 सेंचुरियां कर चुका है वो इस वर्ल्ड कप में। तो भाई क्या खेल रहा है वो, जवाब नहीं है भाई। इंडिया में तो वो वैसे भी बोलता है इंडिया मेरा दूसरा हूँ मैं। तो इंडिया में तो वैसे भी वो वानखेड़े में उसको दे दो तो वो छोड़ेगा। तो अफगानिस्तान जैसे पाकिस्तान को तगड़ी उसने मतलब मारी है पाकिस्तान की तगड़ी। तो वैसे ही साउथ अफ्रीका भी लगी हुई है। तो भाई क्लासन क्या बैटिंग करता है। तो माकरम भी तगड़ी बैटिंग करता है भाई। बबूमा जो रबाडा की खाला है वो कहीं सोई हुई है। तो उसकी जगह पे माकरम कैप्टनशिप कर रहा है। तो अभी मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ माकरम की पोस्ट मैच प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस। देखो अब वो क्या बोल रहा है, क्योंकि भाई अच्छा खेल रहे हैं, बहुत अच्छा खेल रहे हैं। आप सुने ये माकरम की प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस। तो फिर मैं आपको नेक्स्ट वीडियो में मिलूंगा। हम करेंगे पाकिस्तान के बारे में बात। पाकिस्तान से क्या क्या बातें निकल के आ रही हैं अफगानिस्तान से खेलने के बाद, हारने के बाद। वो क्या क्या ब्लेम लगा रहे हैं अब। मतलब ये ब्लेम नहीं लगा रहे कि हम हारे क्यों हैं। मतलब ये ब्लेम लगा भाई यहाँ तक। मैं चलो नेक्स्ट वीडियो में बात करूंगा, फिर आपको हिंट दे देता हूँ। यहाँ तक कि उन्होंने आईसीसी को लेटर तक लिखा था कि हमारा मैच चेन्नई से शिफ्ट कर दो, हम चेन्नई में खेल नहीं सकते। कर लो बात। चलो पहले आप ये प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस सुन लो, फिर उसके बाद नेक्स्ट वीडियो में मैं इस बारे में डिटेल में बात करूंगा। शुक्रिया भाई। और वीडियो को लाइक कर देना भाई प्लीज़। और जो मेरा भाई अभी नया आया चैनल पे हो तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दो। अल्लाह हाफिज़।
Hi, Aiden. Congratulations on the win. South Africa's batting has been doing really well in the last few matches while batting first. So, as a team, do you plan to put your chasing power into test, especially after the Netherlands game? Do you think that as a team you need to chase more totals before the knockouts to test your team and get used to that?
I suppose we're just approaching each game and seeing what's probably best to do on the day. But obviously, the history of the last, I don't know how many games it is now, we've batted first quite a bit. So I think it's quite easy to get that mantra of their best bat first team. But we're a team that is happy to chase. Obviously, now we haven't done it in a while. So to do it successfully, in the ideal world will be great, and you can get those reference points again and get those habits going. But yeah, whether or not we're going to just decide to chase because we haven't chased in a while, I'm not too sure. We'll have to see.
Aiden, a year or two ago, maybe a bit more, you were sort of known as a guy that make pretty 30s. But now you tend to sort of at least go past 50, and you've also scored a few hundreds this year. Just wondering if that was something that you sort of focused on, and how do you manage now to turn those good starts into big scores or bigger scores?
Yeah, I don't think you always get it right, but I think in 50 over cricket there obviously is a lot more time than what I initially maybe thought. You get the feel of the wicket and you maybe decide to pull the trigger slightly earlier, and then you get out and you sit for 20 overs on the side and watch the other guys smack it, and it eats away at you. So I think I had to certainly go through those learnings to help me realize that there's sort of gears that you do go through in 50 over cricket, and you can't just gear straight up and then stay in that gear. You might have to gear down a few times. So had to experience that firsthand to be able to sort of learn about it, but yeah, still trying to figure it out now, to be honest.
Aiden, a feature of the last few games has been the runs scored in the last 10 overs. Just kind of following on from what you said, could you maybe talk about like the batting blueprint and how you set yourselves up so that you can score, 140, 130, whatever it is in the last 10?
Yeah, I think it goes without saying that you obviously do need wickets in hand, but we haven't spoken about a blueprint as a unit. It's been actually quite a strange build-up the last 2 months, or maybe slightly longer now. no definitive like roles given, but everyone kind of knows now what they need to do to help this batting unit sort of peak at their best. So there isn't necessarily a blueprint, but guys understand how to approach it. A big focus on playing conditions and not necessarily situations too much. But obviously there'll be times where you play the situation. But yeah, that's pretty much where it's at as a unit, and we keep saying to look down at the surface and not up at the scoreboard, and play exactly what's in front of us on the pitch.
Aiden, just to take you back to your decision at the toss, do you put any thinking into if we keep them out there for 50 overs and we bat properly and make a big score, by the time they get out there to bat, they're going to be physically and mentally shot? Does that come into your decision making?
Maybe not before the game, but certainly while you're out there. I think today it wasn't as hot, to be honest, as it was for the England game, but it was still hot, and 50 overs is a long time to be in the field, whether it's hot or not. To be honest, it mentally takes quite a bit out of you. So there is that advantage, I would say, especially when conditions are on the hot side. So it's not a reason why we end up batting first. It's not the sole reason, but I suppose it is a slight benefit, or can potentially be a slight benefit if you do bat well first.
Aiden, we are at the halfway mark, so to say, of the group stage. Coming into the World Cup, what is it that you guys were looking for to achieve in going into these few games? And with the wins now, do you think that these have been like proper statement performances, and other teams will sit up and take notice of the team?
Yeah, I'm not too sure if it's putting statements out there. We're trying to sort of crack on with what we're trying to do and achieve as a team, and as every other team is, I'm sure they're here to get into that knockout stage and get to that final, and then play a good game of cricket in the final as well. So that's pretty much where our focus is at. Not trying to blow up the occasion. Obviously, you respect the fact that you are at a World Cup for sure, and you appreciate that a lot. But ultimately, when you cross the rope, it is just a game of cricket, and I think that keeps us nice and calm as well. And hopefully, we can sort of continue that approach going forward.
Aiden, I don't mean to take anything away from the rest of you guys, but Quinny's now reached 400 runs. Has he sort of like started reaching dream territory now in terms of his output in this tournament? And also just on that, do you actually think the fact now that you mentioned, there's not particularly a blueprint or anything, it actually helps him?
Could well be, yes. We all know Quinny to be the free-spirited guy that he is, but he actually has a fantastic cricket brain on him. So he assesses conditions really well and communicates that to us off the field even before we've walked out to bat. So adds a lot of value in that regard. And then sort of just, you never want to clip his wings really, you just want to let him fly. So he structures it the exact way he feels need, and we back that completely as a unit. So yeah,